Okay, so in short, because the story is about like circles of knowledge and like inclusion and exclusion and like inner circles and stuff, I wanted to go in like sort of a spiral. I'm also making it one third as long as the other ones, so it's 13 chapters and an epilogue, which is like the point three, because I shaved off one third, so it's like two thirds as long. It's like thirds. Yeah. So, the three main plot beats of the story are it's all Dan playing boy detective. So he has to figure out the mystery of Pete's ex and all that stuff just because it keeps coming up. And he has to figure out what's going on with Alice. And that relates to what's going on with John Paul. Like, I'm gonna just say that that's all one plot thing, and then the other thing is that he might get kicked out. So there's the issue of how Tachiro doesn't like him. So that's and so I want it to go in like the so there's three things that the plot is doing, and the play it sort of like goes like this until it like gets to the conclusion. So we start off like here, and it has to do with like the shit that he's dealing with at the beginning, which is the sort of like Alice John Paul thing. So that's the quadrant that we're in here, and then it'll go like that. So I guess we figure out the next quadrant has to be the X's, because then they have I've written the part where they have to do that, and then the part after that has to be how Toy doesn't like him. So, and then it'll just keep going like that. You can't see. Yeah, okay. So and it'll just loop back over and over and over again, and each new thing that they do will have to like enter into that part of the plot until it like narrows down. So I guess the chapters that we're in right now center entirely on these broad beats, and then I guess as it goes, like it'll get. I need to diagram this better. Okay, I guess the Alice's ex like drama slash mystery like is only really tangentially related to the drama slash mystery of whether Dan is going to realize that John Paul likes him, and that that's like related to all of the things that have happened. Um, and also that his like own take on that is like relevant to his like future and shit. Like, is he going to decide that actually he doesn't care who sucks his dick, and it would be cool to go live somewhere rent free? And is Alice also gonna go with them because actually Toronto like is kind of hostile for her? Um, so the Alice's mystery is like so her momentum in wanting to go there would like pull Dan along. So maybe unconsciously, um, like even as he's trying to resolve things for her, it's good for things to not be resolved because she is like trying to drag him along as well, because she doesn't want to show up empty-handed on John Paul's doorstep and knows that he wants to take Dan. She's trying to make it work for them. There's like a variety of other mysteries for people who want to know more about Andre and Andrea. Like, I think there's like some personal history stuff between the two of them, or just like what they're doing at any given time. Some people are curious about that stuff, but I don't think those are like the major mysteries. I think that's just stuff that will come up as we're dealing with this other stuff. So like, I think that that's sort of like tied this part and parcel with the Pizza X mystery, because they're wrapped up in that, because it's like a more part of their social world than the social world of the people who are like on the outside of it, who are in their own circle, which is the circle that we deal with. Good. So I know what the last scene of chapter one is. It has to involve something to do with Alice's ex. So I'm written up to the point where Dan goes to bother Mouse about something because I was like, well, what's Mouse doing? So, um, like they're gonna go down to Bloor Street to hustle up some roaches, and they'll see Alice's ex, and like Mouse will say stuff about that, and then I guess that's the end of chapter one, and then chapter two we have to move on to the mystery of Pete's ex, and then I think chapter three we have to go over to the whole like everything to like music stuff and things like that, or we could alternate it because it's kind of like exposition heavy. We could do the Twitcher, but that's really like that's the most problematic thing in Dan's life is right now is that Twitcher doesn't like him. He's using everything else to avoid that. He like constantly doesn't go and talk to the person who doesn't like him and controls whether he lives there because he's scared that it will make it worse and he doesn't want to think about it. So I think that we should deal with Pete's ex stuff. I think that the stuff that Mouse tells him dovetails with that and it gets him curious about it, and maybe he'll start like rustling around for info about that, and we'll see where that takes him for chapter two. And then chapter three we have to deal with the Twitchero thing. I have I have a bunch of notes about things that the this one should cover, like things that I've just done or had on my mind to explain from the first one, or that they never did do, or whatever. So that could, maybe they could go to a bridge show or something. Something, yeah, maybe chapter three. Let me think about. Well, I mean, it depends on what time of year it's happening. Chapter two. Let's chapter one is March. Chapter two. Let's say that takes us through April. And then this one will be in May, and we'll say that it's bridge show and it's music stuff. And then we come back over here and we're doing chapter four. And we come back over here. See, this is how it's going. Like that. And then we'll do chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 9, chapter 10. Oh, perfect. I did the exact right number of things. Chapter 11, chapter 12, and we're back here. Chapter 13 plus epilogue. Nice. I'm actually sort of surprised. That was perfect. Yeah. What the fuck? So I know exactly what's happening. That's the plot outline. This is the first time I've done this. Like, I had an actual structure.